Welcome to another edition of HorseCenter, everyone. I'm Brian Zipsy, and as always, I have the pleasure of being joined by my illustrious host, Matt Schiffman. How are you today, Matt?
I'm doing just fine, and I'm glad to be doing the show with you today, with you being in Kentucky.
I'm a new Kentuckian, proud to be a new Kentuckian. I was a Kentuckian once long ago, but I'm back. Hey, Matt, how about we jump into a preview show? What we're going to do today, we're going to preview an absolutely wonderful day of racing tomorrow. We got big races all over the country: California, Iowa, New York, and Louisville. So let's jump right in, Matt. You ready to start with the biggest race of the day?
Let's do it.
The Gold Cup at Santa Anita. It hurts my ears a little bit to say it after all those great Hollywood Gold Cups, but the Gold Cup at Santa Anita this year has come up pretty darn strong.
It sure has, and I have had the same reaction to the Gold Cup at Santa Anita. But yeah, we got quite a field with several of them coming right back from pretty contested race the last time at Santa Anita, and a couple of newcomers.
Yeah, it attracted a field of 11 for this grade one, Matt, and it's always nice. I always appreciate the 10 furlong races. There aren't enough great 10 furlong races anymore in American racing, so it's good when we get a grade one going a mile and a quarter on the dirt at Santa Anita. We mentioned the Californian. I think we're going to see a clip of that stretch run where Catch a Flight kind of wore down Moreno. The two favorites in the Californian are back, and they're joined by, I think we have to include Opportunity as one of the big three of this Gold Cup. But there are several other interesting horses. Now, of the favorites, Opportunity coming back after with second race off a layoff where he ran a decent third in Kentucky in the Foster just a few weeks ago. Who do you like best of those three favorites, Matt?
I think I'm definitely going to go lean towards Opportunity. I don't. I think I'm going to be with a lot of other people who are doing that. Kind of unusual for Baffert to come right back that quickly in 2 weeks. I take that as a very good sign. I think Opportunity is the horse that is going to enjoy the extra distance the most.
Well, this comes as no surprise to me that you're on Opportunity, Matt. It's such a big Bob Baffert lover that you are. Opportunity is a nice horse, and I think that prep in the Foster, even though it was not that long ago, probably will do him really well. Not sure if a mile and a quarter is his best distance or not, but I think he fits in with the top two. I'm not sure that he's better than the top two, though, and Moreno is always tough. I think in the Californian, the other horse, Catch a Flight, had the advantage of being outside him the whole way and kind of pounced on him. Moreno, as usual, was tough as nails to pass. But I have a hard time separating the three. I tell you what, of the three, though, if I had to pick one, it would be Catch a Flight, just because he has been so good since coming to South America. 5 races, and he looks to be getting better and better. Not sure if 10 furlongs is his best distance or not, but all three are interesting. But you know, Matt, who I like a little bit, and I think I have to throw in my exotics, is a turf horse, Finnegan's Wake.
Yeah, kind of a very interesting move from trainer Peter Miller here, because Finnegan's Wake has just been awesome on the turf, and you got to go way, 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 way back to find a dirt race for Finnegan's Wake. But hey, I give him credit for taking a shot and trying something different.
Yeah, and Peter Miller has been winning a lot of races lately. He's only 6-1 on the morning line, Matt, but I think he'll be a little bit higher than that with the big three taking most of the action. He's been really good on turf, as you said, this year. He's better than ever. He's a mile and a quarter horse, which I think is important because not all of these horses really want 10 furlongs. So the fact that he is a true mile and a quarter horse, I like. And you know what? When I first saw his name there, I said, well, he's done nothing on dirt. But then I gave his past performances a look, and even though he's 0 for 5, there's a couple decent races. He rallied from way back to get third in the Gotham as a 3-year-old, distant third, but he showed some rallying ability. And then more recently, 2 years ago, in the Clark, in Will Take Charge's Clark, he actually rallied. He still finished 6th, but he was beaten only 4 lengths. Now I figure at a mile and a quarter with a good pace to run at, he might be coming, and I think he's got a good shot to get up for a piece. I think it's an interesting move. He'll probably go back to dirt unless he wins this sensationally, or back to turf, I should say. But I think he's an interesting mile and a quarter horse.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting situation. And one, I just want to give also a quick shout out to Majestic City, who's got my man Chucky Lopez up after a pretty nice win out in the Midwest, and Chucky stayed on. So just a little sentimental choice with Majestic City.
Yeah, Majestic City is coming off his best race yet. Chucky Lopez, for all those 50-somethings out there, yeah, he's still going strong. I guess he's based in California, Matt. Northern California now.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's up in the Bay Area, but he's come down for a nice horse. I'm not sure if he's a 10 furlong horse, but what the heck? Who's your top pick in that in the Gold Cup, Matt?
I'm going opportunity.
Opportunity. I'm gonna use. I love to root for Moreno, and I'd love to see him win, but I think I like Catch a Flag best. I like all three favorites though, almost equally. But Finnegan's Wake is gonna get first, second, or third. That's what I think. Hopefully, he'll be closer to 10 to 1.
Then we should key him in the try.
Key him in the try. The Speaking of good older males going a route of ground on the dirt, I think the Festival of Racing at Iowa, 6 races. I think the best of the 6 stakes races over the next 2 nights, tonight and tomorrow night, is definitely the Cornhusker Handicap. Uh, Big history in this race, and it's there. There's no Grade One horses in here, Matt, but it's drawn a very interesting wide open group.
It sure has. I mean, from last year's winter Carve to Golden Lad for Pletcher to Tapiture, who, if you go back to his form from 2014, maybe has a little bit of a class edge. And then you throw in Jessica Starr, who had an impressive win in the local prep race for the Cornhusker.
Jessica Starr, 10 to 1 on the morning line. Yeah, he is one that I want to throw in. Of course, he won the Iowa Derby last year. Now, I worry a little bit with Jessica Starr if he's better on a wet track, but he's run a lot of good races on a dry track too. 3 for 3 lifetime at Prairie Meadows. I think that's an important fact in an evenly matched field. So Jessica Starr is definitely my top long shot. It's hard for me to look past the Pletcher speed, though. Golden Lad, even though I think we're going to show a clip from the Oaklawn Handicap where 3 of the horses, you mentioned them all, Carve, Tapiture, and Golden Lad, finished second, third, and fourth respectively behind race day. And Golden Lad was the worst of the 3. But I think if he's out there on the lead or near the lead, I think he's dangerous. He's outside of Carve today. And most importantly, Matt, I think your favorite rider, if I'm not mistaken, is going to make the trip out there tomorrow night to ride Golden Lad.
Yeah, Javier Castellano is going to make the trip. He's going to have a busy day. He's riding in the Mother Goose in New York, and he's going to have to catch a plane to get out there. Yeah, I like Golden Lad. I love the morning light odds of 9 to 2. Don't think we're going to get them, but at that price, I'd be really happy. Either way, Golden Lad's my top pick.
Golden Lad is your top pick. Matt, the Iowa fans, bettors may not know Javi as well as you do. So who knows? Yeah, I thought so too. I thought 9 to 2 was too high, even though it's a wide open race. We didn't even mention Paige McKenney, who you have to give a shot off his recent form. He likes to win. He can go 9 furlongs, for sure. So again, lots of options here, but I'm going to go with you, Matt. My top pick is also Golden Lad with Javi, but Jessica Starr anywhere near 10 to 1. I'm going to bet those 2 as my main 2. Carve, I have nothing but respect for Carve. He's just a really nice Grade 2 horse. Tapiture, I think, is so far, it looks like he's lost a step, much like his stablemate Untoppable.
Yeah, Tapiture isn't quite running as well as he did in 2014. Hasn't embarrassed himself at all this year, but just seems to be a step off what he used to do.
Yeah, just a step off, and he's going to step right off my tickets, although a little bit of improvement could definitely see him win this. Good race in the Cornhusker. 5 other stakes. Delaunay is back. I thought the Iowa Oaks came up excellent. So check out the Festival of Racing the next 2 nights at beautiful Prairie Meadows near Des Moines, Iowa. Matt, you have a Grade 1 in your neck of the woods. It's the Phillies, the 3-year-old Phillies, which is kind of a wide open division. And I think this Mother Goose has come up pretty wide open.
It sure has. Big field in Grade 1 Mother Goose, $300,000. Before we get into the picks, looking at the race, it makes me a little sad because I think back to the days of the Triple Tiara and the wonderful horses that we had in the past, Brian. And I'm sure you went to your share of those Philly Triple Crown races, and that used to be such a big thing, but for a variety of reasons, changes in schedule, changes in, promotion, the Triple Tiara isn't really a thing anymore. And, I kind of miss that, but as I digress, yeah, we got a good field in the Mother Goose. Most of them are not, of Grade 1 level at this point. The race, we're headlined by Include Betty, by Wonder Gal, by Esken for Money.
Yeah, Mother Goose this year is interesting. I'm with you, Matt. You know, I remember Ruffian winning this race. I remember Koopakoi's Joy holding off Christmas Past one year. Of course, you had the mother of all gooses with Meadow Star and Light Light rocking the Belmont, and I should say MC Hammer too, rocking the grandstand at Belmont one year. More recently, Rachel Alexandra beat a short field in sensational fashion. This is not that. It's a little disappointing to me even to see it at a mile and 16th. It just doesn't feel like a mile and 16th race. The Mother Goose, of course, was a 9 furlong race for years and years. But hey, we have a good field. We have an interesting betting race. Wonder Gal, coming from an outside post, has been absolutely terrific at Belmont. She ran a very good acorn. Embellish the Lace, the Dutro shipper from Parks and Pimlico, the last two, has looked very impressive. Include Betty, I've always liked, but I'm not sure at 8.5 furlongs at Belmont if she's going to be able to get up for anything better than third or worse. Eskin for Money is a danger, but I'm going to throw out a bomb. I should mention the two lightly raced horses too. Chai, the Claiborne homebred, and what's the McLaughlin filly's name?
Yeah,
Musa,
yeah, it starts with an M. Yeah.
yeah, Munasura or something like that. She's looked pretty good. She's undefeated, I guess, still. But I'm going to go bombs away with my top pick. I'm looking for 25, 30, 40 to 1. Money's on Charlotte is one of those horses where when she doesn't get things her way, she's thrown in some clunkers. She's looked ugly. But on her best performances, if you draw a line through a few races, Money's on Charlotte fits in, I think, with this bunch, which is more like a grade two bunch. I think she'll be ignored at the windows. And if she can get a nice position near the lead early, I think Money's on Charlotte could get very brave. 8.5 furlongs, one turn at Belmont Park. I could see her being 30, 40 to 1.
I agree. She's going to be a healthy price, and those of you that are fans of Horse Racing Nation should know full well by now that when Brian Zipsey gives you a bomb like that, that you better pay attention a little bit and take a second or third or fourth look if you didn't look at all. But
Thank you.
anyway,
Thank you. They might take a second or third look at her running ninth, but all I need to do is hit one of these, and what the heck?
that's exactly what I was going to say. You don't have to hit many of those to be ahead for a long, long time, and you don't have to bet much to get ahead on one of those. I'm going to go a little bit more conservative in there, Brian, and against this field, I think that this is the day when Wonder Gal will get her second victory. She, of course, broke her maiden in a New York bred stake and hasn't run a bad race since then, just hasn't been able to break through. And I think she's going to do it in the Mother Goose. If she doesn't, I think that's going to be a big disappointment for trainer Leah Giamardi and her connections.
Yeah, if I had to pick one as the worst to beat, Matt, I think I agree with you. I think Wonder Gal is probably the one, especially considering how well she's run at Belmont. So yeah, Wonder Gal, not a bad pick at all. And even the favorite in here could be 7-2 or so. So, all right. We should mention, I didn't fall in love with any of the four stakes at Churchill, but it's closing night tomorrow night at Churchill. Saturday evening is the close. We're going to head out to Ellis Park soon. So Churchill closes with four stakes. 2-year-olds, if you're a big fan of the young 2-year-olds, the debutante is tomorrow. And Matt, I'm losing the name of the other 2-year-old stake at Churchill tomorrow. What is it? The debutante?
We got the Bashford Manor, grade
Bashford
three.
Manor.
Right, a graded stakes race for the 2-year-old boys already. Right.
Lots of good horses have won the debutante and the Bashford Manor over the years. So if you're a fan of 2-year-olds, get some good looking, promising 2-year-olds in both stakes. There's also the Kelly's Landing Sprint and the Firecracker, which is always a nice turf race. I don't think it came up especially strong today, but one of your favorites, Matt, has won this on more than one occasion.
Yes, Wise Dan. I think we're going to take a look at that Firecracker, the 2013 Firecracker, the race that I call the Hedge Clipper for
Clipper.
Yeah, for that amazing, amazing run of Wise Dan, just basically cutting a path between the other horse and the hedge, somehow getting through. I really believe Johnny V had some hedge clippers out to cut some room to get through there. I think it was one of Dan's greatest performances on a nasty, wet, rainy day at Churchill, but Dan's performance in there brightened up that evening.
Yeah, Wise Dan, many memorable performances, but this firecracker, he won it in 2011, Matt, but this 2013 firecracker was special because Corey Lanery was not giving him more than an inch of room to come up the rail. And Wise Dan said, forget that. Johnny V, let's go. They brushed the hedges about as hard as you can do. And Wise Dan, once you know, just like he does so often, won another one. Matt, one of the reasons I wanted to throw this video into HorseCenter today is we're celebrating the two-time Firecracker champion on the eve of the Firecracker, but Wise Dan's getting closer to racing, and we're all excited to see the champ back again.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I heard Charlie Lepresti talking the other day, and I think the Wise Dan situation is a little bit more promising than I thought about it a while ago. Apparently, he's in training, not full hard training, but he's alternating between jogging and galloping on a daily basis. And apparently, he's Charlie Lepresti said he's never seen him training better at this level. And all they're doing is waiting for a go ahead from Dr. Bramlage. Next appointment, I think, is in a few weeks. So I'm a little more optimistic about getting a chance to see Wise Dan this year.
As well, you should be, Matt. Yeah, Charles Lopresti cannot say enough about how well Wise Dan's doing. He's made it clear that he's only going to come back if he's 100%, but it looks like it's going to be a green light for Wise Dan. He even mentioned the Bernard Baruch. I think we both heard the Steve Bick interview the other day. Now that I'm in Kentucky, Matt, I'm going to get to visit Wise Dan soon. I'd like to do that this week, see him in one of his jogs or gallops, maybe talk to Charlie a little bit. But we're coming back with Wise Dan soon, whether it be Saratoga or Keeneland. We can't wait. On that note, Matt, let's call this one a show. We previewed the Gold Cup at Santa Anita, the Cornhusker at Prairie Meadows, the Mother Goose at Belmont. I hope all your bets are winners. Thank you for joining us on HorseCenter. Thank you, Matt.
My pleasure, and I'll see you soon.
See you soon. We're going to come back earlier next week, back at our middle of the week time slot, Matt. That sounds good, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us. As always, we're brought to you by Horse Racing Nation and Derby Wars.